All right, Chooms, that's it. We're here. We're live. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming out on a Sunday to watch your boy John the Wise do some streaming. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I'm loving it. It's another Sunday. We get to talk about RPGs and Cyberpunk and whatever the hell we want to. Let me know if the music to voice volume is good. The ratio. Let me know if you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed that little trailer too. It's the same folks that did my intro on my videos where you see me doing my little thing. But yeah, by the way, all this stuff behind me, this is going to be changing soon. All this stuff is going to be changing. We got a Liam Bohemian saying, anyone catch that Xbox presentation? Starfield looks amazing. I'm not going to get brought in by the hype because last time I did that, I almost hated Cyberpunk. If I kept going in with that hype, Cyberpunk 2077 would have been a different experience for me. But since I was like, you know what, I'm just going to step away and enjoy the game for what it is, I enjoyed it very much. I had no idea there were things missing because of all that. We got my boy Dice in chat. My boy Dice is one of the best content creators out there. Love having him in chat. Thank you so much for coming, Dice. Anyway, we got a great show for you guys today. For all of you watching the VOD on YouTube, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit. So it turns out the music is a lot lower in the playback than it is in my ears. So I don't know. I don't know what to call that. So you guys let me know if the music is perfect volume or not, okay? Is it good at this volume? This is what it's going to stay at if it's good. So let me know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for supporting. You know what to do. John the Wise on all social media. We got Binary in chat. Love you, buddy. Go to the Discord. The link is in the description below. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/John the Wise to show me some support. And hey, by the way, I've been posting some exclusive stuff on there. Nothing crazy. It's just me and my good buddies playing games, and then I record it and I put it in there. It's for the hardcore John fans, right? The hardcore of the hardcores. Other than that, make sure you guys also subscribe to the podcast, Tabletop Cyberpunk, which I do need to update soon. I need to check it out. Everybody's talking about Starfield. Shoot me a link in chat, guys, so we can maybe take a look at it together. And that way we can enjoy it. Enjoy it. I would love to take a look at it. It's very, very quiet, but we hear you, which is the important thing. Yeah, see, I figured. The music is super low. Translated. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. We got that. My space pirate life for me. Yeah, if you guys have a link, shoot it in chat. I'm more than happy to take a look at it. Music level's good, just loud enough to be pleasant background music. Well, I just turned it up a little bit, so let me know. The presentation was an hour. But yeah, no, I'm not going to watch an hour-long presentation. Pretty long presentation, very in-depth. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look on my own time then. That's what it sounds like. I am super excited. I played a lot of Bethesda games. You know, Skyrim, Fallout, you name it. I'm into it. I'm into the Bethesda. All right, even though their games are crappy and buggy at times. I mean, every now and then I'll fire on Skyrim. You know what I mean, and just start playing it. So, all right, why don't we get straight into it here? Let me just make sure all my stuff is working correctly. Let's turn this stuff. Let me turn the music down just a tad. All right, what are we going to talk about today? Ooh, I did want to talk about this right here. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's something fun out there. Here we go. Let's switch over to the regular cam. Need coffee, someone please send. Oh, there's a new Phantom Liberty trailer too. Is it new? Because if it's new, I'll watch it. All right. Why is my cam not showing? Hey, cam. There it is. All right. Let's make sure this is full screen. Why is it not full screen? Stretch the screen. Thank you. All right. Have you guys seen this? This is the Dungeons and Dragons Diablo 2 edition for AD&D. It's a real thing, dude. It's a real thing. It's new. Okay, shoot me that link in chat. Let's take a look at it. But check this thing out, dude. Dungeons and Dragons Diablo 2 edition. Pen and paper RPG for the Diablo series based on the content of Diablo 2. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. This is the famous picture that I've seen. It's the Amazon and the Necro. It's obviously based off of the Diablo 2 game, but it's for AD&D. I mean, released in 2000. This thing went way under my radar. I don't know about you guys. Diablo, I've been playing Diablo 4. I'm loving Diablo 4. And I would love to play this game, but somebody else has to run it because I don't know anything about AD&D. Fast play game. This was the pre-release. Oh, it was a whole thing. 1999. I mean, the art is sick, right? Diablerie. There was supplements for it. I mean, they kind of like gave it its respect. You know what I mean? To hell and back. I mean, there's so much. Oh yeah, I've been playing Diablo 4. Definitely. There's even a secret cow level. What is this? Oh, it's a Wizards of the Coast product. Interesting. I've snooped out the location Dogtown will be. It's fascinating, lining everything up in the map at where it will be. Oh yeah, DICE did some really cool. I gotta react to that one of these days. But yeah, Diablo 4, man. I grew up playing Diablo 1. The Butcher scared the shit out of me. I played Diablo 2, loved it, fell in love with it. Obviously, it's a classic, you know. Everybody loves Diablo 2. And you know, Lord of Destruction, all that. Diablo 3 played the shit out of it too. I didn't like the direction that they went in, but it was still a great game, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as iconic as Diablo 2. I don't think it'll go down in history as an iconic game. I think it'll go down in history as a controversial game or a game with crazy history, with the whole real money auction house and all kinds of shit that happened with it. But Diablo 4 seems fun. They're calling it the Diablo for Boomers, which is apt. It's all dudes around my age with kids and married and barely have any time to play. Not meant for the hardcore fans. I've been hearing a lot of like hardcore players that like, you know, beat the game in a day, have the highest level characters, all that shit. And they have some complaints about the end game, which, you know, isn't that always a thing? By the way, these ads are what is that? What is that thing? Is that TOS? Like, am I going to get in trouble? I don't even know what that is, these ads. All right, let's check out something else. So that's that. That's the end of that. You mean Gen Xers? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is my first Diablo, and I think they do a great job of... Dude, this is your first Diablo? That's nuts. Had no idea 3 was so angel-focused. It seemed very grim, demonic. Goths are back, baby. Yeah, the reason... because a lot of people, they gravitated to Path of Exile, and Path of Exile is very much like a Diablo 2 inspired game. It's dark, it's dingy. Excuse me. It's dark, but the only issue with Path of Exile is it has a steep learning curve. Like, it's so hard to get into. And, like, it's easier now, but there used to be, like, third-party websites you'd have to go to trade. And then you'd have to have, like, a certain app that would give you an ID number. Then you put the ID number in, and then you can actually trade. So it wasn't, like, really easy to trade. Nowadays, it's super easy. Everything is like built into the game, which is what it should have been from the beginning. But hey, Path of Exile 2 should be good. It's your first time playing Diablo as well. That's interesting, man. Wow. Yeah, no, action RPGs are my jam. Any game that I can put down and go do something and come back and keep playing, that's my style. I used to play like, you know, PUBG, MOBAs, you know, all that kind of competitive stuff. I love competitive games, but I became a toxic individual. All right, let's check out. This is a fun thing we'll talk about later. Why don't we talk about... Let's see, in chat. You guys want a Seth Skorkowski video, the minimalist DM kit, crossbow and catapults, or do you want to take a look at what Jordan V left a comment about? I think we should address this because this is something that has happened to me. I'm definitely going to cut it into a video once we do address it. All right? But yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in chat. Seth, I got 2 Seth videos. I got the minimalist DM kit, crossbows and catapults. We want to talk about that as well. There's a new version of it coming out. Seth is the man. Yeah. Let's do the Cyberpunk trailer. Hold on one sec. Let me get it up. That didn't sound right. Phantom Liberty. Okay, here we go. Phantom Liberty official trailer. Let's turn off the muse. And let's watch.
Gotta be a way out of this.
Johnny, I'm dying. There's nothing can stop that.
V. My name is Songbird. I'm an NUS intelligence analyst. I know about the bomb ticking in your head.
Oh.
And I can save your life.
What?
What's the catch?
I need you to get to Dogtown.
Attention all Dogtown residents. President managed to crash her Space Force One into our humble district.
Whoa.
Man's got 1,001 reasons to want Myers as a hostage. Sleeper agents. Time to work.
Hold on, was that Jackie?
Reasons to want Myers as a hostage.
Guys, is that Jackie but bald? Look at the nose and the cheekbone. Is that not Jackie? I mean, I know he's dead, but, you know, spoiler alert. Also, I love that they're going in the direction where, you know, the relic doesn't kill you. I would love to explore that.
Sleeper agents. Time to wake them up.
So NUSA's tossing us back into the fray, huh?
Stay sharp. We're in the wolf's den now.
Get Myers out of there.
Time to evac.
Dice says, so that is a man named Hansen. Okay. Just has similar cheekbone nose ratio.
Her safety is the top priority.
Shit! They catch us out here, we're dead.
Wait, hear that?
God almighty! It's moving! Run! This way! Quick!
Someone ratted us out.
You know, V, treason ain't ever black and white.
Dude, it's Idris Elba. That's so cool, man. It's so cool. You know, I don't usually like the whole celebrities in video games thing. I find it to be cheap and weird, and like it doesn't really work most of the time. But for some reason, it works in Cyberpunk. Why do you guys think that is? Why does it work in Cyberpunk? Maybe because like personalities work in the world, but it works.
It's a charade, V.
Wherever she goes, people get hurt. Bodies drop.
Just want what Songbird promised me. The cure.
The situation's changed. You need to know if you're with me.
Illusion of freedom draws in the desperate. Pick your truth, V.
Come on, got iron in your hand. Gotta put it to someone's head. Pull the trigger.
Why would it default to 360p, right? Wait, was that Triple H? Is that the Hanson guy you were
Iron in
talking
your
about?
hand. Gotta put it to
Dude, tell me that's not Triple H. They need to put more wrestlers in. The wrestlers would fit in these. I'm not even a wrestling fan, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not like a wrestling guy. You know, I stopped watching it. But their personalities are perfect for Cyberpunk. Even their outfits.
someone's head. Pull the trigger.
If I don't do anything and do it soon, I'll die.
Sick. Super sick. Yeah, this is sick, dude. This is really good. I think they did a great job with the trailer. I was gonna play it no matter what. But holy crap, dude. It's good. I love that they're going in the direction of, so when Cyberpunk 2077 came out, it was like, synth wave, like dubstep, like neon in your face, like, which is cool and all that, I get it. We're all into that kind of stuff. But this is more of them trying to fit a story into it. Like they're like, okay, we showed you the universe. Now check it out. We're going to tell you a story in this universe. And they're going to take it like in their own direction. I love it. I think it's a great idea. I love it doesn't feel just like a DLC. It feels like a new game. The story feels like a new game. You know what I mean? Usually DLCs are not something that I'm like that crazy about, like Fallout DLCs or I mean, I've like, I don't know how many hours in Skyrim. I've never gone to Dawnguard. I did not do any of it. I bought it. I never did any of it. I never did any of the other like DLCs because it just felt like, tacked on. But this is like, hey, this is the universe. You know what the universe is. You felt it. Well, check this out. We're going to take you down a different path. In fact, I would have even not minded if we didn't play with V and we played a different character, but I'm glad. I'm just happy that they gave us the option to, quote unquote, get the relic out of our head and not kill us. But, like someone said in chat, Liam Bohemian said, sounds like a big con, 100%. And that's what Cyberpunk's about, right? Due to knowing this was coming, I just pulled longer hours than I normally would. I'm in a single night. I flipped out way too much stuff in prep. Now I'm dead. Jesus Christ. You got to be careful, dude. Burnout is real. Burnout is real. My recommendation, have other hobbies. That's why there's all these painted miniatures up there, because burnout is real, dude. If I get too far into Cyberpunk and I don't give myself room for other hobbies, then my love for Cyberpunk suffers. That's what I've felt personally. I would have preferred being a nobody instead of a character like V personally. I like making a full bore character. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I would have much rather preferred to make my own character because, that's more in line with the tabletop role-playing game anyway. That's basically what the game is. If you're going to put the game on the screen, then, it has to feel like the game when I play it, right? But it was a risk, and I think it worked because I like him. I like V. I think he's a great character, and I felt compassion for him. I felt empathetic. He felt relatable. So I think they did a good job of picking a cool Cyberpunk character to play, because he can basically play. He's basically a solo. I mean, nobody has a problem playing a solo in Cyberpunk. So they're like, we'll just get a quintessential solo and give him multi-classing options. That's basically what it is. Hopefully V gets actual chance to save themselves. There is the tech to help clone body use construct that take and store V and put in the new body. Yeah. That's something they can explore as well. Is it going to be the same V? I don't know. V rules, wisecracking scumbag can definitely relate. Yeah, it's a good character, and it's a risk because, if the main character isn't relatable, then you have issues like Last of Us 2, set aside whatever homophobia bullshit, transphobia, whatever bullshit that people had with a female lead. If the lead wasn't relatable to a lot of people and they didn't enjoy the game. Whether it's a good game or not, I don't know. I've never played it, but that's the controversy that was out there. I'm leaning towards it's probably a good game. But you take big risks with your leading character in these games. So with V, I think they did a good job. Do you think this will be their last DLC? I honestly don't, if it goes well. Good point there, bud. I don't know if it's going to be their last DLC, but after this DLC, I want something big. You know, maybe Cyberpunk 2. You know, it might be their last DLC because they're like, you know, we're just going to start working on the next Cyberpunk game. Because, you know, when did Cyberpunk 2077 come out? 2077. Punk 2077 release. It came out 3 years ago, give or take. We get another year and a half. It'll be 5 years. Yeah. Then they start development on they probably already did start development on Cyberpunk 2. So yeah. John the Wise takes the cruise of infinite-sided dice and the no latency bar on an adventure in Texas. Yeah. You know, that's the fun stuff. Bronx says they have stated they are working the next Cyberpunk game. Yeah, so it's already in development. Cyberpunk Orion, did they not? Oh, yeah, that's right. They announced Cyberpunk Orion. But, you know, this might not be Cyberpunk 2. It might just be a spin-off. After Phantom Liberty, the core team responsible for 2077 will move to Boston, USA. Nice. To establish a new hub of North American CDPR. That's crazy, dude. At some point afterwards, the Boston team, with help from the Vancouver and Warsaw crews, are slated to start development on the sequel. Oh, so it is a sequel. It's not like a spin-off game. So it is a sequel, and it'll be developed in Boston. So that's TBA. Publishers, Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red. Okay, that's pretty cool. An American branch is nice. That's nice. Cool. I like that. I'm looking forward to it. It's all done until the next game. I don't expect it for 6, 7, or 7 years. Yeah, we might see like a small DLC, like maybe like after Phantom Liberty, we might see something small, but I don't know. I doubt it. It's on the Red Engine 4. Is that the same one that they used for the original? Red Engine. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 used Red Engine 4, which supported all this stuff. CD Projekt announced a partnership with Epic Games after retiring Red Engine to use Unreal Engine 5. So that's the question, right? Are we gonna... so Phantom Liberty will be using Red Engine 4. And it'll be the last game on that old engine. After that, it's Unreal 5. I don't know if you guys have seen that Unreal 5 shit, but it's fucking wild, dude. Video games are on another level in the future. Lana Vanya, how you doing, buddy? Saying, I was surprised that no one had issues playing Geralt in Witcher 3. I think it's good writing to be able to immerse yourself even with a full-fledged character. I didn't like Witcher 3. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest with you, because of that reason. I like Geralt, he's cool, but I wasn't completely sold on him. You know what I mean? I wasn't like wowed by his character all that much. So, you know, Unreal Engine 5 looks dope. Yeah, it looks insane. Maybe we should let's look at some videos. Molasses was bought for that fun multiplayer Witcher game, which was scrapped and became a full rework, I understood. Molasses was bought. Molasses. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Molasses? All right. Let's watch an RPG video, huh? How about that? I think it's about time. Let's watch some Seth. Let me get some Seth Skorkowski in here, dude. Love my bud, Seth. Let's do 5 GM mind games and enjoy that one.
Hello, Internet. Seth Skorkowski, and hopefully we'll be done with our huge home renovation project soon so I can return to my normal shooting space instead of this awkward setup that I've been doing for the past few weeks. But today we're going to talk about Game Master mind games. 5 little tricks to keep your players on your toes, keep them guessing, and a little paranoid. I talked about in my How to Run a Horror video how unknown variables are where horror lies.
I don't know about you guys, but the mind games part, okay, Molasses fled the studio. Gotcha. The mind games is the most fun part for me. It's so fun to be able to like make twists and turns and change things around and really just like try to do something like that. at the tabletop. That's what made me enjoy being a game master. Is once I realized, like, oh my god, I could just have fun, literally making these crazy ideas in my head happen. Like, wouldn't it be cool if the dude in the backstory became friends with all the players and then he backstabbed them at the end of the day and they never knew he was going to backstab them, and then there's that oh shit moment where like he's like, sorry guys, I had to do it, it's just business, and then bad guys come from every corner and they arrest them or kidnap them, and that's the kind of shit that I love seeing happen.
That knowledge that you don't have all the information about a threat. Game Master mind games are little gags that Game Masters can do to seed that little bit of fear of the unknown into your players. Now, while these tricks are certainly useful for horror scenarios, they are not exclusive to horror scenarios, and Game Master can benefit from these in most genres and most games. So most of this advice is going to be pretty system neutral, so it doesn't matter if you're running D&D or Call of Cthulhu, Cyberpunk, Traveler, whatever else, there are going to be benefits here. The first and most popular of these tricks is mystery rolls.
Mystery rolls is nice. Mystery rolls is something that I picked up. I would go back and forth with it. I'm like, do I roll behind the screen on every roll? Or do I never roll behind the screen so my players know that I'm not fudging dice? Or what I've found is the in-between. Sometimes you roll behind the screen. Sometimes you roll out in the open to let them know, hey man, this is on the game. This has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to roll the dice.
Following the clues, your characters enter the shipping yard around 1 a.m. Okay guys, keep your eyes out. This face-eating alien is going to be here somewhere. I'd like to roll recon, see if I can detect anything. Okay, plus 5 is 17. Hell yeah! Okay,
Ugh. What's he doing? He's too quiet.
You don't detect anything. What are you doing? We're sticking together and start looking for box 2184. And
dude, how do you roll 2 6s and you not pass? What else do you have to roll?
And I think I'm gonna go ahead and draw my pistol. That's a laser pistol, right? Yeah. Okay. What was that? Nothing.
Dude, you got him.
Important. Did I mess up? I don't know. That was nice and intense for the players, and little did they.
I mean, but that's Seth. Come on, bud. You're being a little cruel there. They rolled 2 6s, and you're playing these mind games with them. Let them have it's 2 6s. What else you get? It's the highest you could roll on 2 dice, right? They were D6s.
Realized that those rolls that the Game Master was doing didn't mean anything. Their purpose was to make the players think there was something that they don't know. And
also, how many times do you think he had to retake and do that, dropping the 2 6s in there and hoping that he gets 2 6s?
To ratchet the tension up for them. The players made a great roll to detect unseen enemies, and it was such a good roll that the players sitting around the table know that hiding from that would be near impossible. But instead of letting the players have that meta-confidence that nothing could possibly hide against them, the Game Master pretended to make some rolls, consult his notes before answering, and that instilled that little bit of doubt. While the players certainly know that that roll was great, maybe it just wasn't good enough for whatever it was that they were looking for. And then, to make matters worse, the Game Master made another roll for no discernible reason, jotted a note, and let the players believe that something of some unknown importance was happening. Now that is a hell of a lot more exciting than had the Game Master just simply said, you don't detect anything, and then we fast forward to the container that they were looking for. So Game Masters, if you are wanting to build some tension, maybe ask the players, what their armor or save is, then roll.
Dude, that's nuts. Okay, so that was the mind game. The mind game was they rolled 2 6s, so it's like we all know that they passed, right? We all know that they passed. But instead of just saying like, oh yeah, you obviously pass, which is something that I do all the time, Seth decided, you know what, I want to keep the tension going in this scenario, and there's nothing for them to detect. Whether they failed or passed, there's nothing there. If there's nothing there, then it doesn't matter how well they do on the roll. But I can make the situation a little bit more, a little bit more tense by doing these like arbitrary rolls that mean nothing and just to mess with my players. You do have to have like a good poker face, though. You really have to have a good poker face. Binary says, I have a version of that. Could you put your token on the board for me? Why? No reason. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm going to fast forward just a tad over here to the next one.
Second, and this one is even easier, watch your phrasing. When a player is listening at a door, they check a chest for traps, and they succeed, instead of simply saying that the room is empty or there aren't any traps, which those are declarations of absolutes, phrase it from the character's perspective. The passageway appears empty. Appears. Or something like this. You don't detect any traps. Those are almost...
Yeah, you see the tone is what it is. But yeah, it's the idea that, like, you know, I say, as far as you know, you detect nothing. That's a good one that I use. As far as you know, the item is not magical. As far as you know, nothing is around the corner.
The same, but because it's been changed from there are no threats to you don't detect any threats, it keeps a little bit of doubt in the players' heads. Now, you should always be honest with your players. You're not misleading them. You're not saying that there is something there when there's nothing there. And also, you're not saying that there is nothing there when there is something there. You're simply answering the player's inquiry honestly, but leaving that little trail of doubt that while their roll was good, it might not have been good enough for some sort of unknown threat. Third, ask oddly specific questions. Okay, so I open up the chest. So are you directly in front of the chest, or are you beside the chest? Beside it. Left or right side? The left side. My left side, that is. Okay, Dweebles, where are you exactly?
All right. That's just torture at this point. I like that. It's a good idea. I actually do that because there's a reason to it. So if you do that when it's actually important, it has more of an impact at the times where it's not important. And then later on it feeds into itself where they're like, okay, John, is it really important where I'm standing, or is this another one of your mind games? And that kind of torture is fun.
I'm behind the pillar with my sword out. Okay, so your back is to the door then. No, I'm watching the door. In that example skit, when a player said that they wanted to open up the chest, the Game Master could have just simply said whatever it was that they found inside the chest, just like they've done a half dozen other times in the same dungeon. But because instead they started asking where everybody was in relation to the chest, and they brought up the door to the room, the players started getting scared, believing that their answers were suddenly very, very critical, and this was different than most times before. So,
there is a downside to this, and the downside is the time crunch. If you don't have a lot of time to play, like let's say we get together once a month and we have like 3-4 hours tops, that basically means we don't have time to do these thought experiments all the time. You know what I mean? Like if there's nothing in the chest and there's no trap, then you open the chest, there's no trap, let's go, we got to move on, there's a thing happening in the other room. But if you have the luxury of time where you're like, hey, we're here all day, there's beer and pretzels on the table, I got nothing to do all day, we can play 12 hours right now. If that's the case, then hell yeah. I would say I would do this all game for everything. But there has been a lot of times where I can't get that deep into it. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Next, use a prop, but don't explain it. Now, this is one that I haven't really tried that much myself, and I probably can't use this one now because my players are going to see this video, but my friend Rook Riley brought this one up, and I absolutely love this gag. She had a game master who, for one session, pulled out this little brass skull and set it on the table in front of the players. So the players are sitting there and they're looking at it, and they're thinking to themselves, what the hell is this thing about? And then once in a while during the game session, the game master would reach over and turn that skull to face a different player, and no one knew why that happened. Did that mean something good? Was that a bad thing? Had they done something to deserve the skull's gaze, or had the person that had been looking at done something to cause the skull to turn away? And the game master refused to answer questions or even acknowledge the little brass skull that was sitting on the table in front of them. They're just kind of like, oh, don't worry about it, and then change the subject as to what everybody was going to be doing in the game, and not really even stating anything of why there was a little brass skull that was staring hammering them down. It kind of reminds me in the Red Clearance Paranoia RPG, there is the number one player card that game masters give to one player, and periodically throughout the session they should switch whichever player gets it, never divulging what that card does or what warrants getting the card or what warrants losing the card. It's just
I've never actually personally done this, but this is a really cool idea. Also, yeah, Liam, 100%. This is great for Call of Cthulhu, and I've never even played it. But I have played, like, the Fantasy Flight horror games. So I totally get it. But I've never actually had the opportunity to just, like, have a weird... You know what it is, man? Seth has... I'm so jealous of him, dude. He has these sessions where him and his wife and his buddies play for hours and hours. They just like get together and play for hours, and I'm just so jealous that he can do that.
Periodically, the game master should say, hey, number one player is this person, give that card over to them. Next, and this is one that I considered saving for a different video, some possible future video going over backstories or roleplay, but because of how well this worked when this was used on me last time, I'm just going to go ahead and list this here. Give them something to protect, then threaten it. Now, this is a very old storytelling trick, but the hard part is giving the players something that is personal to them and that the player wants to protect.
Yeah, this is difficult to do in Cyberpunk because Cyberpunk is an RPG where having attachments is a weakness. You know, a lot of people play their characters that way. You don't have to play your character that way. You can have like people that you love and your family and your friends and stuff. But a lot of people, they're like, it's disadvantageous to me to have any kind of connections to people. But, that's not human. It's not only is it not human, most of the time it's not interesting because everybody's doing it. Like, oh, you're all orphans. All your family were killed. Okay. So, there's no one that could come after you and try to use that against you. But in Cyberpunk, actually, if you go through the backstory and you look at the different allies that they have, that's why, even rules as written in Cyberpunk Red, there's a chance where you have 0 allies, 0 enemies. And I personally don't like that. I like doing minimum 1 because of this exact reason. I can give them something to protect and then threaten it. And it's something that they already have established in their backstory themselves. It has nothing to do with me.
So when I was playing Season 1 of Voyagers of the Jump with Glass Cannon, we had a session where our plucky heroes were captured by an Imperial warship. Now, between sessions, our Game Master Matthew messaged each of us and asked each of us to send him a secret that our character had that they would never want the rest of the crew to know about. So, because my character and their backstory had gone to prison right after...
That's a good one. Secret that the rest of the party doesn't know. I just played the Alien RPG. We're going through a scenario of it, and it's very different than a one-shot. I think it does a really good job of doing like a small form campaign, as opposed to a one-shot. It gives you like this is your thing, this is your secret about your character that no one has to know. Like, you can tell the other players if you want, but this is like your personality. This is who you are. This is what you're after. This is your agenda. I think it is even called agenda. And you hold on to that. And you might only be able to pass the scenario if you have something in your agenda that tells you to. So, like, for example, there could be a character that is secretly like working for another corporation, not Wayland Yutani. And maybe their agenda is to steal as much information as they can and then jettison the hell out of there and maybe even kill the rest of the party. If not, at least take the information. So they have to be slick in the way that they take things, take the information. Like, hey guys, I'll watch the laptop. Like, here, I'll take care of the USB drive. You know what I mean? Pretty soon the players are going to be like, dude, why do you want all the electronics? So that's fun. I highly recommend it. I think I'll even introduce it in my games, or I tried to in Under the Crimson Sky. I did something like that with Binary's character. He's in chat. The character's name is Binary. His character was, being chased by Arasaka for some reason. I had Arasaka jump them. The rest of the players didn't. They might have even heard him talk about it, but it just went in one ear, out the other. You don't really remember everybody's backstory elements. So when it happened, they were all taken by surprise. Even Binary didn't remember that part of his backstory. I had to tell him. But once he did, he was like, "Oh shit, that's right. That's exactly what this is."
Graduated the Naval Academy, I decided that his secret is that he had turned dime on his accomplices, whatever crime it was that he had doing, kind of as an attempt to reduce his own sentence. And being that our own group at that time were all criminals and we'd just been captured fleeing some criminal act, my character would never want his crewmates to know his secret that he had been a rat. Well, then the next session started up and it opens.
Dude, snitching, being a rat is not looked upon kindly in the criminal world.
Up with us being interrogated, and just right out the gate, the interrogator almost immediately threatened to share with my crewmates how I'd been a rat. And my reaction just instantly flipped from, okay, we're role-playing this interrogation scene, to, oh shit, this is personal, and I can't believe that Matthew's using this against me. I told him that in confidence, and I can't let anybody know that my character was a rat. So getting your players to feel personally invested in protecting something, that is a difficult thing to do. You can't make a player personally attached to something. They have to do that themselves, and what works for one player might not work for another player, or even the same player in a different campaign. So there isn't any magical bullet that I can offer of what works for everybody or anyone all the time. But for
yeah, that's a good thing. It is tough to have that trust you have to have that trust in your game master that they're not going to use your secret against you, because you might have plans for your secret. Like Seth was saying, he kind of had plans for his secret, and Matthew used that against him. He's not saying Matthew did a poor job or anything like that. He's just saying that it made him feel something. And feeling something is what it's really all about. It's not about trying to win, because that's a stupid thing to do. You're the game master. You can literally send, level 100 dragons at the party and kill the whole party. We all pack up our shit and go home. So there's nothing for you to win. And same goes for the players trying to win against the game master. I've seen where it's it's a game of wits, haha, with the game master and I. Oh, you don't know my secrets. It's ridiculous. Okay, the game of wits is this. It's making your players feel something, whether it's anger, sadness, confusion, even. You know what I mean? When you got the whole table around you and they find something in the campaign and they all go, oh, like that. That reaction is what you live for as a game master. That's letting you know everybody's having fun. Because if they weren't invested and weren't having fun, they wouldn't have reacted that way. It goes hand in hand. Good game masters know how to make their players feel something. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Next, while I promised you 5, here is a 6th one for free. Because it isn't as system neutral as the others, looming currency pools are great for instilling a sense of dread. Now, this one only works in a few games where there's a type of Game Master currency that they can spend. Modiphius's 2d20 system, which I've talked about with Conan and Octung Cthulhu, they have their Doom and their Threat pools, where the Game Master gains these points that they can cash them in to do bad things for the player characters. Star Wars uses a similar mechanic with their dark side tokens that Game Masters can amass. As a Game Master mind game, use physical tokens for this, or if you're doing a virtual tabletop, set it up to where the players can plainly see the Game Master's pool growing. They need to be able to see at all times how much is in the Game Master's pool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know Cyberpunk doesn't have anything like that. It basically has the luck stat. The luck stat is the only thing that is close to this kind of pool of resources that you can use, but the luck stat is specific to each player character. I don't know, just spitballing, thinking maybe you put everybody's luck stat together in a pool, and every time the party does something cool, you can add to it or subtract from it, and they can all use it, so it's one person can use all the luck that the entire party has. I don't know, just something I was thinking about just in this exact moment. But it would be cool if Cyberpunk had something similar.
The secret is if they have it right there in front of them. Now, as the game is going on, don't cash in your tokens in that very much. Do it as minimally as necessary, because as the game is winding closer and closer to whatever the grand finale is or dramatic showdown is going to be at the end, the player's eyes keep glancing over at this Game Master pool, kind of like a ticking time bomb, because they know that something bad is coming, and when that happens, the Game Master has amassed a lot of credit. They're going to cash that in to make that big threat even worse. Finally, and this is more...
Okay, I got it. So what you can do is you can use like a bowl and put tokens in it to denote how much time is passing. So if the players are sitting there and they're like, look, we got to figure out what to do. We got to go here and do some recon, and then we'll go through the back. We'll take out the lights. And then somebody else is like, we can't take out the lights. The lights are going to take out the doors, and then we won't be able to open the doors. And as the game master, instead of interrupting them and saying the clock is ticking, you can just, silently take a token, put it in a bowl, and they can see that the time is ticking. It's like the same as like watching a clock. You hear the click clock of the next hour getting in, and you're like, shit, okay, come on, man. We don't have enough time. We got to pick a plan, stick to it, and get to it. I like that. I'm going to try that. Actually, I'm going to try that.
Of a warning than an actual tip. Don't overuse any mind game. They work best if they're sparingly used and varied as far as which ones you're using and as far as, how you're employing them and when you're employing them.
Why was there a Back to the Future? Why is that scene there where Marty's there with his mom? Don't overuse them. Hey, I've seen this one. Oh, the line he says, hey, I've seen this one. And they're like, you never see, how could you see this? It just came out. That's what it was.
Varied as far as which ones you're using and as far as, how you're employing them and when you're employing them. If you're constantly making fake rolls behind the screen or regularly asking detailed questions during tense moments, then the players are just going to accept that as normal because you do that all the time. So pace yourself as far as how you use them, and the longer gap that you have between when you employ these tactics to specifically heighten the tension, the more effective they're going to be when you use them. Next, sometimes you gotta fulfill the promise. The only way to keep these working multiple times is if game masters aren't always bluffing. If every
it's like along the same logic. Don't overuse it, but also you have to come through on some of the things, or else it's the whole idea of if your character can't die in the game, then what's the point? There's no threat. There's no threat of me losing my character. There's no stakes. So if you don't come through on some of the things that you're doing, the whole idea is these mind games are mimicking sometimes the real things that happen. Like, the dice rolling stuff. That is real. It can happen. You could roll behind the screen and be like, sorry, dude, you failed. And, and that's a real thing. So I get it.
Time you make secret rolls behind the screen or start asking specific questions or busting out some sort of weird prop that has no meaning at all, then the players are going to stop caring about that. So have your players see the times when you use those gags, and they do have very real consequences, demonstrating that it's not always a bluff when you do this, and they never know when it's going to be a bluff and when it's going to be real. So in conclusion, Game Master mind games are merely tools to heighten the tension, injecting a little bit of drama into a situation. A lot of players out there complain that it's antagonistic for a game master to intentionally do these tricks to kind of get inside their players' heads and try to get them a little paranoid, but I disagree with that. Sure, yes, there are...
Antagonistic is a huge stretch. I don't know who's saying that. It's definitely not antagonistic because I'm not trying to mess with... Well, okay, I guess there is a game master out there that plays mind games to troll their players. I get it. That is a thing, but there's a fine line between trolling your players, which it's like, why are you doing that? Like, you're wasting everybody's time, and actually trying to realistically make sure that they have a good experience where they feel feelings, they're afraid, they're unsure, and that means that their decisions are way more impactful because they don't know if every easy decision is a really easy decision. Now, the stuff that's a no-brainer is not a no-brainer anymore. Now it's like, I don't know. We never know what can happen, even though it looks like, my perception check said there's nothing there. But I don't know. Seth is a maniac, all right? He's been doing these mind games from the beginning of our campaign till now. I can't trust the single perception check that I ever go through. But I rolled really well. What else are we going to do? Let's get in this place. You know what I mean? So, but at the same, like, it doesn't mean that it stops you from playing the game. It just means that it makes you feel like feelings, it makes you feel something before you get there. Well, anyway, you guys know Seth. I don't have to tell you to go and follow him and subscribe to him, but I highly recommend that you do that because he's the man. All right, he's the man. All right, let's watch something else in chat here. Turn on some of the music. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, we'll check this one out. This is from Dice. This is the Minimalist DM kit. It's the Dungeon Master Toolkit. I haven't seen this. It was submitted by Dice. And by the way, if you guys have anything to submit, johnjohnthewise@gmail.com. Message me, whatever. Send me the info. If there's a YouTube video, an article, or something that you want me to take a look at, I'm more than happy to do it. So go ahead and send it over. All right, let's do the next video here. All right, here we go.
Greetings, travelers. Welcome back to House DM. Today I'm going to be going over both of my Dungeon Master kits. Also, hello to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. It doesn't happen very often, but I do enjoy engaging in conversation in the comments. So if you
Is that a new book in the back? Old School Essentials? I think I've seen that somewhere. Is that like the OSRS revival kind of thing? Let me know in chat. It looks like a new book. Old School Essentials. It looks interesting. Oh, he's got that Mork Borg sticker too. I like his little setup here, dude. He's got nice minis and everything. I mean, yeah, it's good.
you want to say hi, I look forward to connecting with you there. So I have two kits that I use to run my D&D sessions. I have a minimalist one and I have my main one. The reason I have a minimalist kit is because I used to be an outdoor educator and I would also run D&D after school programs about twice a week. And once an outdoor educator, always an outdoor educator. Hashtag birds are tight. If you know, you know.
Dude, how cool is it that Cyberpunk has an app and basically you could literally just play Cyberpunk right away anywhere that you are. I've always thought about that. Like I'm out with my family and stuff. If I ever needed to run a game, whoever needs to run a game on the fly like that. But if I ever needed to run a game, I could tell everybody to download the app and just start playing. I mean, that's pretty dope. It's made by one guy, One guy made the app for our game. Sick.
No. When I would run D&D for this after school program, I needed a smaller and more compact kit that I could just throw in my bag and it just had everything I needed to run the game. It also needed to be fairly durable because kids. Now I'm going to show you both this minimalist kit that I used when I was an outdoor educator and my current minimalist kit, and they're definitely not the same now at this point. It looked a little bit like this. You've probably seen these mats before. This is just a Chess X battle mat. Rolls out fairly easily.
All right, I love this Chess X battle map. This is a neoprene one. I have one. I don't know if it's here. Bam, son. All right, I'll go full screen on this. This thing is sick, dude. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's the same one. It's grid on one side. Or sorry, square and then grid on the hexagonal on the other, whatever the hell it's called. But the thing that makes this the best is this. Sorry, I know, gross. Wet erase. Wet erase marker. I mean, not your thumb. That's usually not, but water should be fine. And this was actually like a little theater map that I made. It's not too bad, right? I mean, not the best, but highly recommend it. Highly recommend it if you want to do battle maps on the fly. Tyler Australia says, "Do you watch any Matthew Colville? He has lots of great videos like Seth." I think. Hey, what's up, Jay? How are you? We got Jay Gray in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Chooms, we got Jay Gray in chat. Let everybody know. I do like Matthew Colville. I think Matthew Colville. Here, I'll say it this way: Matthew Colville has a lot of great information. Very wise, very good videos. But he had a internet interaction with a good friend of mine, and I didn't like the way that he acted. And I'm not trying to start beef with nobody, but I just didn't like the way that he acted towards my friend, and because of that, I kind of soured on him. That's it. Maybe it's a misunderstanding or something, but it was just like a little incident. But that's it. All right, let's check this out.
You can use wet erase markers on there, and that's actually what's in this small little kit here. Got microfiber towel.
Good.
2 wet erase markers.
Wet erase, yep.
You can literally draw with anything like this onto these mats. A little spit.
It's good. Literally what I just did. Oh, wait. I don't have the cam on. I'm silly. Sorry, guys. Wet erase, and you can also use this for like a, on the fly, like scratch, like NPC, health bars and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And it would just wipe right off. Let's just empty this all out here. There we go. This is a bag of tokens.
Tokens, okay.
Now these backgammon pieces are what I would use as miniatures for my players. Same thing with the wet erase markers on the canvas mat. You can also use this. Actually, I think this is vinyl. Pretty sure it's like a vinyl
or neoprene.
You can just write names on these tokens, erase them, and that's how you would place them. They're perfect size to fit in a 1-inch square, which at the time. Yeah,
this is a good minimalist kit so far that I'm seeing. I don't know why the lighter is there. I'm interested to hear about the Zippo. It is interesting though.
Time I used a grid, especially with students, it's easier to just mark it out on a grid. So there's your characters.
Oh yeah, Jay has a good idea in chat there. A while back, I got a set of interlocking square tiles, easier to store, and they don't keep the fold creases. Yeah, it is annoying that every time I have to put the mat out, I have to like push it down, and like it's not as great. And there is way more immersion with an interlocking square tile, so I totally get that. There's a lot of them out there too. There's a lot of them. Dice says, when I found this guy's video, he was less than around 1,000 subs. I just randomly was recommended to me, and I was like, this is brilliant. Yeah, I don't care what sub amount he has. I'm with you.
Standard D20 set. A big D20. Oftentimes, I would like set this up as a timer, or just it was easier to view, or it would be a big boss monster. Easy to be like, hey, this monster is the big boss, and they have 10 hit points, or they can take 10 hits, so to speak. This was super helpful to have.
Yeah, it's also novel. Like, I have a D100 that it just doesn't work. Here, I'll show you guys. But, even though it doesn't work, doesn't mean I wasn't going to buy it. All right. Here, let's go full screen on this bad boy. See, this thing is a D100, but I'm sure you guys see the problem. What's the problem? It's a circle. What is it's a sphere. It's a sphere. So what does the sphere do? It keeps on rolling. Right off the table. And I don't even know what that says. Is it a 40 or a 53 or a 12? I don't know. There's too many numbers on that thing. But it is cool. Actually, if you take a look at it, there's like little divots inside the numbers. So like, it's supposed to settle. You see how it's like kind of like wobbling right there? That's because it's settling on one of those divots. But like I said, once again, what is that? Is it a 96? What's the number? What's the number that I rolled? I don't know. But it's fun.
here's all the tokens I used. You'll see there's like black marbles, red little tokens, and gold ones. Typically, I would use these red ones to mark enemies. Sometimes I'd use the black ones if it was a different type of enemy. The gold ones were mainly used as points of interest or treasure. So when I would lay these out on the map, that would get people excited because they know.
Yeah, just like Jay says in chat, years ago I lived in Albany, New York. There was a small store selling industrial and stained glass products, including colored beads by the bagful. Those are super useful for many purposes. Just like my house DM is saying right here. Look at that. Points of interest.
That this is either a magic item or a potion along those lines. And then this is like an agate. I have a ton of these little smooth agates in this bag. And I would kind of use them for the same purpose as treasure. These were a newer addition once I started collecting agates.
Yeah, this is cool. So this is his minimalist kit. So this is his kit that he can pull out at any time and play a very vast game of D&D, or of anything really. But the idea is he has all the elements for it to be as complicated as it needs to be. You know, it doesn't have to be basic. It can be advanced, but he doesn't need a lot of items. All these like different tokens and stuff could denote, you know, one's a house, one's a castle, one's a treasure, one's a chest, one's a trap, one's a monster. All that stuff you can do with the different beads. I like it.
But yeah, any sort of shiny thing will work to mark that. You don't need to use like super fancy whatevers. And then the last item here is a Zippo lighter.
We got to know what this is.
Yeah, it's probably out of fuel. We use this to burn character sheets because it's a dramatic way to send off your dead PCs.
Ah, interesting. I don't know about you guys, but every time I've had a player's character die, they want to keep the character sheet. You know, it's something to remember them by. Actually, no, one time the player was like, you can keep it. But to burn a character sheet, I don't know. It's a little tough to burn a character sheet. I don't know if I'd be okay with doing that. Dice says, I have a little stockpile of mini bases of different sizes that I use. That's good. That's a good thing to have. Just go through your mom's house. Chances you'll find a lot of decorative quiche with colorful beads. Yeah.
And that's it. This setup worked really well for me, and my students were extremely into our campaign. My minimalist kit now has changed quite a bit since then. While I am no longer running after school programs, I do sometimes DM at one of my players' homes. And that kit looks a bit more like this. So, got a Bluetooth speaker here for me.
We got minimal kit number 2. All right.
Music during my game session. You'll see this is actually a dice box I made. There's just some Dwarvish runes on there. It's a little bit of Elder Futhark, honestly. You can get this box like already.
How about the fact that he had to put that disclaimer of what kind of dwarven it is, or else people are dwarvish, or people would come after him.
It's a little bit of Elder Futhark, honestly. You can get this box like already assembled like this at like your local craft store, and then just buy a piece of felt and hot glue it in there. And then I just stained mine with like a wood stain and did a little wood burning runes on it. And here's my dice storage. This is literally one of those camera cases. You can buy this online or from the Unholy Empire. We all know.
Oh, interesting.
I've got my main dice in here. This is just bags of other dice. These are the main dice I use.
Main dice.
Like
love it. Love the big numbers, legible, easy to read. That's so big, dude. That's so big. I don't understand why there are so many dice makers out there that are making complicated dice that you can't read. I just don't get it. If the functionality's not there, I mean, I do get it. Some people like the designs and stuff just for the artistic value, but it doesn't feel utilitarian to me. Cyborg Bushin, did you watch the trailer? Your thoughts? Yep, I did. You might want to rewind the stream and catch up and then come back. Or, you can do whatever you want. I appreciate it.
Big font.
Or Jay Gray says, good for storage, the fish tackle box or sewing kit boxes. Or you get that the cookie box that your grandma has for those cookies, and she puts like sewing stuff in there. You use that one? Well, I guess that is a sewing kit box, right?
This bag just has standard D6s. This
coins?
is actually coins. 2 types of coins. One, I use these little...
Bentrix says, my favorite dice have symbols as the max number. Dude, how about when they put a symbol on the max and the minimum? So you're like, so now I have to memorize what's a 1 and what's a 6? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Games Workshop has done that a while, but I think they've gotten away from it, actually. Danish butter cookies, that's what it is.
Dwarvish coins here for hero tokens if you're playing ICRPG or Inspiration. I'll pass these out. It's fun to give physical coins to my players. And again, this is a minimalist.
This is harkening back to what Seth was saying, you know, using props. Props are that's something I need to introduce into my game. There's always room to learn, dudes. Always room to learn. I need to introduce some props.
Kit, so I have these like kind of character tokens I'll use to represent different classes. So I think this is like paladin or cleric. This one with the
those are fun.
pentagram is a warlock.
Yeah, those are fun.
You could probably guess that's a druid. The harp is a bard.
They look hefty too.
Yeah, so I'll use these to represent character models if I don't have minis. Sometimes we'll use minis. And you'll see I have these like chunks of these skull dice. I first saw some skull dice from Hankrin Ferdinand over at Runehammer, utilizing these as monsters. I painted some of them red to differentiate between types of enemies.
Okay.
I love these dice. They
That's
are
cool.
so helpful to just lay them on the
Yeah,
battlefield.
that easy to be
seen
monsters.
A couple YouTube shorts of me utilizing these.
Oh, look at
super
that
helpful.
spinner.
Purple ones, you know.
Okay.
I think this is a D20 from someone.
I like he uses the different colors and stuff. You can tell that this guy does a lot of Adventure League, where, you know, a bunch of strangers come together and play D&D, and he likes to be prepared for all occasions. It's good, man. Anytime you get a game master that cares this much, you know you're going to have a good time. Cyborg says, let's see. Or Jay says, physical luck is so useful for helping people remember they have it to spend. Yeah, we were just talking about that right before you popped in. You might have missed it, Jay. I was thinking of, you know, having like a luck pool, and maybe having like a physical token about it is good. You're right. Cyborg says, what advice would you give to a game master that struggles to describe Night City's environment during sessions? Well, Jay, I'll say what Jay says right under. Pictures to show, Sirenscape sound set for the audio, describe smells. Smell is our greatest window to engaging the imagination. Yeah, I think the basic rule is like three senses. You say Night City, you give them the time, the setting, and then you give them three senses: what they see, what they hear, what they smell. Those are usually those three things. If you focus on that, it gives people a really good picture. So for Night City, we can say the neon glow from the signs, from the advertisement lights up the streets. You smell the burnt CO2 fuel that's coming around with all the vehicles driving by. Sorry, I'm doing this off the top of my head. And you hear the sound of gunfire in the distance as the police are chasing down some booster gangs. I just like gave you an idea of what kind of dark, dingy part of Night City you're in. So it all depends. You might be in, you know, like a geisha club or something. You might be in a corporate environment. All those things use some kind of sight or use some kind of senses to let them know.
In my Magic the Gathering group, I don't know whose it is. If it's yours, sorry, I haven't.
I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit.
Random bits and bobs, the diamond.
Okay.
Your players, tokens like that.
Yeah, so this guy has a lot of cool props.
I got another one.
The cardinal directions.
More fire and bits and pieces.
Gotcha. Oh, so yeah, the fire tokens are to let you know that there's a fire there, basically, so you can interact with the environment. The cardinal directions one is pretty good too.
I also got a bunch of index cards in here. Started writing quests, or like the purpose for players to be doing things. This is for.
Let's see here. Strahd acquiring the bones. Location is at church or in city streets. D12 rounds. He arrives. By the way, this is how I write campaigns. This is how I write like specific sessions. And then he's got a character, a stat block here. Oh, it's for Strahd. It's actually Strahd. AC 16. Holy shit. DC 21. Jesus Christ. 300 HP. Holy cow. Anyway, I've never played Curse of Strahd, so... Alright, Jay. Have a good one, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Miss you. It's good seeing you. Yeah, this is great. It's cool that he holds on to it. You know, one of these days I might go through... on stream, we might go through my campaign notes. But I like this. I want to read what was said on back here.
I also got a bunch of index cards in here. Started writing.
This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in... I don't know what this is. Look for an entertaining man with a monkey. This man is more than he seems. Oh, I guess maybe these are NPC dialogue options that he can use on the fly that he liked. Interesting. So far, I'm really liking his minimalist kit. The only issue is now he's introducing this kind of thing to it. And I think I might be overwhelmed with all this stuff. But you know what? He knows where everything is. He knows how to use all this stuff. And I'm sure he has a bunch of experience with it. So I'm just saying personally, for me, it might be too much even for a minimalist kit. Amazing advice, guys. Thanks. I'm from France and I'm traveling to Los Angeles in a few days. I think it will help me get a better idea of what California looks like. Yeah, right now we got a lot of June gloom in California, in LA. I live in LA as well. The sky looks like it's gonna rain any second, but it's not raining, so it's a strange time.
Quests.
Fast forwarding a little bit.
This is, and then this is my newest one, which is the.
Okay.
I forget. It's not a.
Yeah.
Now, my main DM kit looks slightly different from my minimalist one. This kit is quite a bit more bulky, and it kind of works better by staying with the rest of my RPG stuff, like all behind me. So I tend not to really travel that much with it. But sometimes I do.
Yeah, Night City is a lot like current day LA. The reason I don't know the real reason why Mike didn't use current day LA as the main setting, but I believe it was just so he could like make a city from scratch and he didn't have to worry about like any history or anything. He made his own history with Night City being built in Morro Bay. So that's why it works so well as a setting. But what's also cool about it is you could be from LA, you could be from New York, you could be from, Nashville, and you'll recognize elements in the city that are similar to the city that you lived in. So yeah, when you come to LA, I'm definitely sure you're going to get some inspiration.
Drag it along with me. And that kit looks more like this. Now, my main kit includes everything that you saw in my minimalist kit, but I also have this like sterilite box full of a bunch of bits and pieces.
Oh God. Yeah, this guy's got a lot of stuff.
From, like, a local grocery store during the holiday season. I think it's for like holiday ornaments.
All right, there's stuff in here that I'm like, will you ever really use it? Or are you just hoarding? Hey, I'm not judging, dude. This is only a percentage of my models. Okay, there's models in that corner over there that you can't see.
But extra dice.
I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. Okay, looks like he's got a lot of terrain that goes really well with each other. Okay, it's cool. There, I see tea candles over here as well. Tea candles are nice.
So here's some Jeremy Black Magic Craft Pillars I made. He talks about this in his videos. He's super right. I definitely always use these.
Pillars. Oh, yeah, I guess pillars are a good way to form a building because you're on a flat plane. What am I missing? I'm missing something.
Same with my dungeon walls. Post a link of me making these. This is EVA foam. What I love about the EVA foam is I can just throw these in the box and I don't have to worry about the XPS foam getting ruined or anything like that. They're just so durable. Same with these little corners. These things are like so helpful for like.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lana Vanya. I think his minimalist kit, the first one, was the best one. And I would even use that for like my main game. If I know we're going to be using terrain and stuff, I kind of plan that in advance. I'm not one to make terrain on the fly, but then again, I've never done that before, and I'm curious to see how other game masters do that.
Setting up the negative space for.
Oh, here we go. He's about to do it right now.
Something along those lines. Ta-da!
Yeah, he did that pretty quick.
Super great. This is just a piece of XPS foam with some moss from your craft store glued on. You know, I use these as bushes and stuff.
Yep.
I even have
some stairs.
Style door here.
So it looks like this. Okay, what we're looking at here, folks, he's already brought up Black Magic Craft more than once. If you guys know anything about Black Magic Craft, it's one of the best YouTube channels out there. And they give you DIY ideas on how you can make your own, like, anything. Cyberpunk terrain, D&D terrain. It's just the guy he has a talent for knowing how to make stuff out of nothing. And what we're seeing here is a fan of Black Magic Craft and is now trying to find a way to use all the stuff that they've made. And it's like, you know, there was a reason why I made all this stuff, right? I was going to use it. I'm just joking.
This is the boss monster door. Pretty proud of this thing. It took a while to make.
Very nice.
Even with the whole lesson. Yeah, so aside from that, I'll also bring my giant foam.
So it sounds like he brings his minimalist kit, part 2, version 2. And then he brings that big tub of stuff with him. And they play together. All right, let's watch the conclusion here.
A good time. Sometimes all you need are your dice, some friends, your imagination, and some old backgammon pieces.
That's what I'd say.
I almost dropped this. Oh, and before you go, please let me know what your minimalist DM kit looks like in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas. All right, take care.
All right, look at that. This is a great channel. I'm going to subscribe right now. House DM, if you guys want to check them out. My Dungeon Master Toolkit. Really cool stuff. Well done. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, why don't I show you guys my kit? Huh? How about that? Because everybody's got to have a kit, right? So, I'll show you mine. Cyborg Bushin says, what was the most surprising roleplay action from your players that you've seen in all your Cyberpunk games? When they ran away. I never thought they would do that once. There was a time where they were in a situation where things did not look good for them at all. And I was afraid that I was actually going to kill the whole party. And they did the one thing that I didn't think they would do, and is they ran away. Which was the smartest thing to do. Which was the best thing to do. And I didn't account for it because I'm like, you know, nobody ever runs away. Everybody always tries to fight, you know. But these guys were like, no, we're running away. And that actually led to a car chase, explosions, and some really good rolls where they lost the people that were chasing them. You know what I mean? So that was a great, great moment. I'll always remember that. All right, let's do some music here. And I'll show you guys my minimalist kit. All right. All right. A little bit too loud. There we go. So, first of all, we got these dice here. These are D10s by NFIL. I take them with me now because they are D10s. They're beautiful. They were given to me obviously as a gift to promote on my channel. You guys can click on the affiliate link. I don't think it's on this video currently, but it will be if you're watching the VOD. And you can purchase these dice for yourself. They're beautiful D10s, really well made. And when you purchase them using my link, I get a little bit of kickback. But I bring these with me so my players can have a really cool, nice D10 to roll with during the game. As you can see, there's 5. 1 for the game master, 4 for the players. So there's that. You know, everybody has their own dice. This is my little bag or box. Okay. Let me move this a little bit here. This box right here was a sunglasses box. It had sunglasses in it, but the reason I liked it is because it had these dividers for the sunglasses. Each one was a different pair of sunglasses. So I can use that divider to change things around. This hasn't been organized in a while, so there's a lot of like random stuff in here. These are some beautiful dice that I got from Infinite Sided Dice. They gave it to me as a gift, handmade. This is a nice little D20, metallic D20. The Witcher RPG I have not played, Cyborg, so I'm sorry, I can't really give any insight on it. All I know is I love Artel Sorian, I love their games, I love Cody, so I'm sure it's good. And then I got a bunch of dice here, just random dice. Okay. There's just random dice in the box right there. Okay. This is just, you know, I like to have dice for my players. Basically, I want to make sure that they don't have to bring anything. These are the Jumpstart Kit standees. You can see the characters in there. Here, let me take them out. I had them, they were from the Jumpstart Kit. You can take them out and put them on these little standees, and you have NPCs. See that? 2 bad guys, and then you got Racer right there, the Nomad. But I don't use them anymore. Instead, I use these knockoff Warhammer minis. Let me turn down the music just a tad. These are some knockoff Warhammer minis that I literally got for $1, and that's why they're knockoff, because I could just drop them. They make for okay Cyberpunk bad guys, you know, or Cyberpunk characters. They come in like a green and a blue. You know, they kind of look cyborged out. So they're nice. I use these as minis. I got them from like a literally like, I don't even know what store I was in, and I just spotted them. And I just bought a like whole bag of them as NPCs. Oh, I found the standee. Here you go. You could buy these little Amazon standees, and I think they're called hero stands or something like that. And then there you go. You have a token. And you could print out any token and make an easy, like, high quality token that way. Of course, I gotta have my little, like I said, I just have knickknacks in here too. I got my no latency pin. Gotta have it. And speaking of poker chips, this is a chip from my local shop, Green Tower Games. And it's like a Warhammer token. It can be used as like an objective. And, you know, also have a pin from that same shop. Love my shop, local shop. And that's basically it. That's my whole kit, because I don't really need anything else. We have the app, scratch piece of paper. Sometimes I bring that that battle map that I showed you guys. I bring the Chessex map. I put a map. I draw a map on it, and we get to playing. Oh. I also bring this guy. Is that? I also bring this guy with me. The Cyberpunk net running deck. All right. Gotta have the net running deck for your net runner. And then, of course, the core rulebook. and my Game Master screen. I did find this. Hold on. TOS, dude. I don't know if this Knight's Edge book is okay for YouTube, but this is the Cyberpunk 2020 course book I was talking about last year. To dive into these. I have 3 of those cards. I should give them back to you. Oh my god. Yeah, please do. They are in my dice box. Please give me my cards back. What do you want, Timmy? Relax. All right. All right. We're having a good time here, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Timmy, chill out. It's going to be okay. Okay. All right. It's time to address this here. Let's talk about this. This is definitely something I want to chat about. I just have to find it. All right, here you go. I'll just put it on the screen right here. So I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and I thought it would be a good idea to dive into it and talk about it because it's something relatable in my opinion. Here we go. So this is a message from Jordan V. This was under my, which video was it under? One of my Game Master advice videos, that I do. And he said, I had a conversation with my players due to I could tell they weren't enjoying it, and due to it seemed like they wasn't getting the story, seeing how I could go forward. So, maybe English is not their first language, but I think what they're saying is they noticed that their players were losing interest in the game. And let me just turn this down just a little bit more. I know it's not that loud on your end, but it's loud on my end, and it's bothering me. And it seemed like their players weren't getting into the story, and they were distracted. And Jordan did what you're supposed to do, which is you address it, and you ask them what's going on. Then the next day, 2 people left with the excuse that they weren't really enjoying it, and even though they said they were multiple times. Obviously, those people lied. They were not having a good time, and they lied to you because they wanted to save you from getting your feelings hurt. And then when they realized that they were going to play the next day, they're like, we're not going to play. We're not coming. First time DMing as well. Okay, it's good to note that. It made me not want to DM again. Okay. All right. So, this is a situation that I'm sure a lot of us have been through. Maybe not with being a game master, but with anything in life. Anything in life you try for the first time or you're new at, you're going to suck. It's just a matter of, whether, even if you're super talented and you pick up something quickly or like it sings to you and inspires you, you're still not going to be the best. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to... I'm trying to word it in a way. You're not going to live up to your expectations. That's what it is. So you need to make sure that your expectations are not as high as they are. Because I get it. Look, you get your friends together, you all want to play, and they decide you're the game master, right? You do all the research, you put all the things together, and you're just hoping that they'll enjoy the game. But there's a lot of pitfalls into being a game master. There's a lot of mistakes that you can make. And these mistakes can cost you time. They can cost you the game. And there's stuff that you might not even mean to do. You know what I mean? And like Binary saying, heart goes out to you, man. Yeah. It sucks that this person is like, I don't want to be a game master anymore because of the experience that I had. Those people, not everybody is innocent on the other end either. Those people, they should have told you from the beginning at the moment. Like, especially knowing you're a new game master. If I know you're a new game master and you're running a game, I'm going to be a little bit more understanding. I'm going to be a little bit more compassionate. Because, look, at the end of the day, if you're a new game master and I wanted to give you a chance and play at your game, then I got to give you a chance. If you're sitting at the table with a new game master, then you better give them the respect that you're giving them the chance. Otherwise, if you're going to sit there and criticize them and talk shit about how they're bad at being a game master, why did you show up in the first place? Okay? If you didn't want to have that experience, you shouldn't have put yourself in that situation. That's what it is. You know they're a new game master, you're putting them yourselves in that situation if you're playing in their game. But I get it. You want to play. You don't want to not play. Playing is better than not playing, right? Not always. Not always. The quality of the game is important. If you can't get a good quality game out of your group, then it is better not to play, in my opinion. Cyborg says, I can relate to what Jordan says. Sometimes it's really hard to keep your players invested in some sessions. I had this problem and I still have it to this day. Sometimes I lack trust in my GM abilities. It's totally normal to feel that way, okay? That's why being a game master is a constant pursuit. That's why there's so many YouTube channels and content creators, because there's so much to say. Everybody has their own take on the same kind of issue. It's okay if you're not good at it. Like, I'm not the best with words, okay? I really am not. If you know me long enough, and my greatest critics would agree with me, I flub my words all the time. I'm terrible at explaining things sometimes. And sometimes I'm excited and I don't know how to express that excitement. And my players just look at me like, what the hell are you saying, John? But if that deterred me from ever being a game master, then I wouldn't have had all those amazing moments with my players in other ways. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, okay? You work on your weaknesses and you put your strengths on a pedestal. That's what life is all about. Lana Vanya says, happened to me like 23 years ago playing a Diablo TTRPG board game. Shit. Was it the one that we were just talking about earlier? The AD&D one? One said, you do not need to invite me again. That hurt. Now we have 2 DMs in our group. One for Cthulhu, one for Red, totally. Different styles, but both real fun and no competition between them. I, however, never DM'd again, but maybe soon again. So, I totally feel for you. I was actually in a Starfinder campaign recently, and the game master for that game is a really good friend of mine, and we are still friends to this day. And it wasn't his fault that I wasn't having fun. But after 6 sessions, which I gave it 6 sessions, I mean, I think after 6 sessions, I am entitled to my opinion. That's how I felt. I felt, I gave it a chance. It's not like it's the first game and I'm like, I'm not having fun. But from the first game to the 6th game, I wasn't having fun. Okay? And maybe because he was my good buddy, I didn't want to say anything. But we were at the table and I was dreading even playing. I was telling my wife before the game, like, I don't even want to play. Like, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel like I don't want to play. So when the game started, the first incident where something happened that I didn't like, I just said, hey guys, I'm sorry. I'm stopping this game, but I'm really not having fun. I'm sorry. Like 6 sessions have gone by and I've been trying to explore my character in a way that I am not able to explore them, which was at no fault to the game master. It was the couple other players in the group that really, ruined my experience. And they would say the same thing about me. They would probably say that I ruined their experience too. So whatever, tit for tat. But nevertheless, I did not have a good time and I said I couldn't play. I don't want to play this anymore. Maybe I'll make a new character that is focused on something else because I can't explore this part of this character. So let me just make a different character that gels with the group better. But we never ultimately did that because the other 2 players had a hissy fit, one of them mostly, and started like throwing like weird accusations at me, and it made our group fall apart. What can you do? And that was the last time we ever played together. So I totally feel you. I've been there. These things have happened. I've also ran a game where people are openly yawning at the table. One person's playing EverQuest, and I'm trying to get them through this dungeon that I created. But I just didn't capture the essence of the game. Okay? I tried to make it too much like Diablo or like a video game or a dungeon crawling video game. I tried to gamify it, and I ignored all the other roleplay aspects of the game. You know, common pitfall for a game master. Common pitfall is to gamify the game. And, excuse me, to add elements to the game that are basically video game-esque kind of things. They don't really work for anything other than video games. I spill my... I had a soda with me, and now I don't know... Oh, shit. There. Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy was in my game, so he knows all about it. Love you, Jimmy. Good to see you. But so, okay. So, Jordan, I don't think if you're listening to this is my message to you. First of all, my heart goes out to you. You're not alone. Everybody's gone through this as a game master. I don't know a single game master that had a good first GM experience. I don't know a single one. Maybe it's out there. Maybe it exists. But for the most part, almost everybody that I've spoken to has told me that they don't even want to talk about the first time they were a game master because it was embarrassing for them because of stuff like this. You know what I mean? So... Getting that out of the way. Everybody has some kind of issues that they go through as a game master. You learn, okay? You learn and you get better. I don't know the exact situation with what you guys were going through and what your players were going through, but in the beginning you say here, I had a conversation with my players due to I could tell they weren't enjoying it. And then later you said, but they said they were enjoying it multiple times. Your instinct was telling you that they were not engaged with your game. They didn't find it interesting. And that should have been a sign for you. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just giving you my insight because this has happened to me too, okay? This has happened to me too. Your instinct told you that they're not having fun. So what does that mean? That means something needs to change. What needs to change? I don't know. I can't really tell you exactly what it was because I wasn't there. Maybe if you want, email me, johnjohnthewise@gmail.com. Tell me the exact situation. I'm happy to give you my advice. Maybe we'll even talk about it on the show. But setting that aside, not knowing exactly what you went through, if your players are not engaged with your story, then you need to find a way to get them engaged. And the best way to do that is using their backstory. And also, not just that, ask them. Ask them what they enjoy. I played like 2 sessions of a game with a group, and then I called each one of them and I said, hey, it looks like to me you like X and Y style of playing. Is this correct? And then they can correct me, or they can tell me like, oh, not only do I like it, like this is the only way that I like to play. Or, yeah, I like it, but you know, I have to have a little bit of Z as well. X and Y is good, but if I don't get a little bit of Z every now and then I feel like I'm not getting a full experience. And as a game master, that tells me if I want to engage all the players, I have to engage them at the level that they want to be engaged at. I have to make sure there's combat situations for the combat heavy people. And combat is not good enough. It's not just killing people. I ask them, what is it about combat that you like? Do you like the min-max? Do you like the tactics? Do you like using your environment? Do you like it when you can do an athletics check and topple down a piece of the building and it smashes the enemy character? Or do you just literally like rolling dice and you don't care what situation we're in? These are all very important questions to ask your players, and you should ask them. That's why session 0 is so important. Session 0 answers all these questions for you. You don't have to worry about it. You'll know about their backstory. You'll know about how they enjoy playing the game. And then you can plan accordingly. Session 1, 2, and 3 will cover, or session 1 will cover 2 of the players. Session 2 will make sure the other 2 players have a good time. Session 3, everybody will have a good time because I'm introducing all those elements into each one of the games. So it might seem like a lot of work, but actually it's not a lot of work once you figure out what are the things that your players like. Then you can focus your energy on focusing on the things that they like. Cyborg says, or Binary says, especially immersive sims take from the story. Oh, he said, I do think you can pull a lot for oot for GM prep from video games. I think he's saying a lot from video games. Yeah, you can. You can pull a lot from video games. But, you know, think about it. Most of the video games were inspired by tabletop role-playing games. I mean, everything is an RPG now. And D&D and Chainmail were the originators of RPGs. So games are learning from them. What can we learn from games? The instant gratification, rewards, progression. Those are things that are in video games that are very important to have in your tabletop RPG too. And you can definitely see how that works. But tabletop RPGs are also, much like video games, they are all about immersion. But the way you're immersed in a video game is different than the way you're immersed in a tabletop RPG. And the way you're immersed in a video game is sensory. It's like it's hitting you at all sides. You're watching cutscenes. There's things jumping in front of the screen. There's screen shake. There's graphical tearing and all kinds of crazy shit happening on your screen to immerse you into the game. Music too. But tabletop RPGs, the immersion is from your imagination and the topics that you explore and the way the game master paints a picture. And if I'm making it too much like a video game, it might break the immersion for some of the other players. And they'll be like, hey, if I wanted to play a video game, I just go play a video game. You know, I wouldn't be playing tabletop RPGs. I'm playing this tabletop RPG because it's not a video game. You know, I think there's a lot to that. Cyborg says, sometimes I like when the players really are taking control of the game by being creative and staying active throughout the session. I'm relaxing because I see they have fun and it gives me confidence. Nailed it. Nailed it, Cyborg. Jordan, if you got anything from that, I'm telling you, that's the advice. Sometimes the best thing to do is to say nothing and just let your players do their thing. Let them make the choices, let them direct the campaign, and that way you're like, well, John, how do I prepare for something like that? What if they take it in like all kinds of crazy directions? Well, the answer is you don't prepare because you can't prepare. And because you can't prepare for all those things, it lifts that weight off of your shoulders where you're like, oh, I don't need to prepare. I can't do anything about stuff that I can't control. Okay? So instead of trying to control them, it's a futile attempt. Trying to control what your players say or do is futile. And when you succeed, you GM'd wrong. You should never take away your player's agency. So that lifts that entire responsibility off my shoulders. All I have to do now is just run the game and just react to what my players are doing, where they're going, who they're talking to, and use the constraints of my world that I've created to determine and guide me in the directions that we're going. If they want to get into a gunfight, they can get into a gunfight. Fine. Where are they? In the middle of the street? Well, okay. What neighborhood are we in? We're in the corporate zone? Oh, okay. Well, max stack is coming within seconds. You can't do that in a corporate zone. And these are private max stack, okay? These are like privatized security, paramilitary force. They're not trying to arrest nobody, okay? They're trying to kill people that are causing problems in the corporate zone. You're in a combat zone, you get into a gunfight? Well, yeah, I'd expect you to. So let's do it. Who cares if you're in public? It's a combat zone. So the constraints of where they are and what they're doing decide my reaction to them. So it doesn't matter if they want to get into a gunfight. It doesn't matter if they want to steal or shoot or lie or flirt or whatever. All that matters is where they are, who they're doing it with, and what the ramifications of that would be. And as a game master, you could do that. K101, is there a good community to play with online for Red? Been learning the rules to try my first game. Go to the link in the description below. There is a Discord. There's a Discord community in there. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Join that Discord community. It is public. They're waiting for you. Go into the affiliate links section. Excuse me. And there are like 3 or 4 different groups. In fact, let me see if I could pull it up over here. Let's go to screen capture, full screen. Oh, well, no, it's all right. It's too much to deal with right now. But yeah, go to the Discord community, go to affiliate links. There's like 3 or 4 other Discords that are affiliated with us and that we vetted that run Cyberpunk Red games in their Discord. It's public, anyone can join. They all have their own way of how they run their games, and they have their own rules, so you're going to have to, go through that. But it's a great way to just play the game, try it out, and see how you feel about it. You might decide, like, that's not the way that you like to play. You want to play with, like, friends in person or friends that you know. You know what I mean? Lana Vanya says, I think you did a great job with taming Binary Dragon and Crimson Sky to give the others an equal speech in the game. It's so important to understand your players and play styles. Yeah. Binary is one of those players that is he's a player and game master that's all about creativity. The rules are just a suggestion. And I love that. I love that about him. And I would never want to silence that about him. You know what I mean? That's how he enjoys playing the game. So if I can possibly see things happening, I'll give him a chance. But if it's a little bit out there, I'll tell him, I don't think so. It's a little bit out there. I don't see it working. But it's always yes and maybe and. You know what I mean? It's not no. Yes and or maybe and. Taming might be the wrong word, more like letting him exhaust himself without compromising airtime for the others. Yeah. He's great. Love that guy. Cyborg, I struggle to give one of my players who is a medtech in our campaign the opportunity to use his role ability. Any advice, John? Thank you for everything. Yeah, every now and then I remind my medtech player that if they want to make any meds, that now is the time. And to have that on them. And I just give them that opportunity. Taming. I'm a dragon, not a beast. Yeah, no problem, K101. Have a good one. You got it. Have a good game and have fun and all those things. So the medtech role ability, it's broken up into different things that you can do, but like creating drugs is a big thing. And really the best way to give them an opportunity to use their medtech is during an investigation. There's a corpse, there's a body, something happened to the body, and they want to try to divine some information from it. Or put your players into a combat situation where they need the medtech. Because I just finished the campaign where we had a medtech, and boy, thank goodness we had a medtech, because it would have been an awkward end to the campaign if we didn't. They would have been out in the wilderness with all kinds of crazy injuries. They all had like less than 10 health each. Okay? It's not a good time. They had critical injuries and all kinds of stuff. Binary says, I will say during that game, we did have issues behind the camera. Addressing that with us was all very well placed. Did you find that a struggle, John? No, I didn't find it a struggle at all to talk about those things, because I know what happens if you don't talk about those things. If there's something happening at your table and you just brush it under the rug, your game is doomed. That group is doomed, and maybe even the friendships are doomed. It's all going to bubble over. It's all going to come to the surface. So the best thing you can do is get ahead of it and address it right away. Open communication, and make sure that, you don't have an incident like that again. Or you know how to deal with that incident. Or, when an incident like that comes by, there's no misunderstanding. We all know what everybody means when they say the things that they say. Because if you don't, and trust me, it's a very difficult conversation to have, to call somebody and be like, hey, did you not have a good time? Because you're putting them in a position where they have to be truthful. And maybe they don't want to hurt your feelings. And you put them in it's just an awkward confrontation. Confrontation is awkward no matter what. I'm good at confrontation. And usually some people tell me like, oh, you must like it. But honestly, I don't like it. I hate it. I hate confrontation, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Like, it has to happen, because I've seen what happens if you just let things go and like you don't address things, and it's poison. It kills a group. And that's exactly what I said, you know, when I confronted people. And as I said, I don't want this group to die. I like you guys. And if there's an issue, we need to get to it right now. And that was that. Maybe random encounter of someone needing help with an injury. Yeah, that's good too. You could do stuff like that, you know. Definitely look at what they do best and see how they can help. Investigation, you know, saving somebody. A good thing would be like, you know, a random encounter, like a corporate is injured. He just got mugged by a bunch of boosters. You save him from the boosters, but he has this like horrible injury now. You save him from the horrible injury. And it's like your medtech character puts you guys in good standing with a corporate, a high level corporate, you know? There's stuff like that you can do. If there is a second season of Edge Runners, would you like it to follow another cast or another period of Cyberpunk like 2020 or Red? I think the setting is fine. I wouldn't change the setting. I think it's totally fine it being like 2077-ish. But I do think they should have another cast, completely different cast. Maybe one character, you know, is back there, and like, you know, maybe we'll see who's alive. Maybe we'll see Lucy, and you know, maybe she'll have a little cameo or something like that. But I want new characters, whole new characters, new scenario. I want a buddy cop show of Night City Police Department. I want a Max Tech or Trauma Team show. I want, you know, any of those things would be fun. You know, following a corporate, following somebody that lives in the combat zone, getting out of the combat zone. All those things are good. I think we already kind of did the rags to riches story with David, because that's what his story is. His story is like the typical Cyberpunk tabletop RPG character going from having nothing to having something. So yeah, I would definitely do that. I think I like that. All right. Okay, Chooms. That's about it. We have hit the end of this stream. Man, it's been a lot of fun. I love having you guys on here. Love interacting with you, Chooms. Thank you so much for all your support and love. And I can't wait. We're going to try to do this at least 3 times a month. I'm going to try to have some guests come on in the future as well. So I hope you guys enjoy that. All right. Thank you so much once again. We'll see you guys on the next one. But before I go, let me make sure I hit you guys with that little outro. Have nothing to it all to death, and later, Chooms, stay safe. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. We're going to play the little intro, outro, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. We'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Goodbye.